How can you have work and life balance and be able to achieve all the goals that you want in both? This is not the next manifestation technique video or the next motivational video, and definitely is not relying on your willpower. But I'm going to show you in this video how to build a system that works even when you don't feel like it. If you're new to my channel, my name is Cosimo. I've helped over 80,000 people worldwide to rewire their brain to achieve success and manifest anything they want in their life by being very tangible and practical. And in this YouTube channel, you're gonna find many videos like this, or many videos that talk about system, focusing, strategies that will really help you to achieve anything you want in your life, like I do with my top tier clients. By using the same strategies, I was able to partner with Dean Graziosi and Tony Robbins, mastermind.com, and at the age of 32, I was able to become a multimillionaire. So let's start this video, because before we get to the 3 principles that will change your work and your life forever, I'm going to tell you that in the middle of this video, I'm going to ask you a question that I cannot ask you right now because it will not make sense. This question is a question that I ask to all the clients that get the most success in my program. And I'll tell you something else. When I will ask you that question, you're going to reveal to you when and why you're failing and what's holding you back to achieve the most important goal of your life. By knowing that, when you hear it, everything is going to change, because in that moment, you're not going to only understand that, but you're going to feel what to do. So let's start. Of course, to achieve amazing goals in our life, we have to have energy, we have to have the right attitude, the right thoughts, the right emotion. But once you have those, if you don't have a plan, even if you have a plan, but you don't have a system, you are going to feel falling apart in your taking actions. That's why in this video, thinking in systems will be the most important thing you have to be able to do. What does it mean, thinking in systems? It's basically not relying anymore on motivation or willpower, because motivation and willpower are limited resources. So if we can delete motivation and willpower and we substitute them with processes, we start building a system that works even when we don't feel like it. And here is what nobody actually told you. Everybody has intentions, everybody has things they want to do, and intentions are like, I'd like to read more, I'd like to be more focused, I'd like to study something, I'd like to start speaking in public, I'd like to go to the gym. These are all intentions that we have. But now what happens? That not many people bring those intentions a step farther, which is basically planning. And so now some of them actually plan it and they start saying, oh, actually, I'm going to wake up 5 a.m. in the morning and start reading a book. Or I'm going to go to the gym after work every single evening. Or I'm going to start eating healthy every single day. Or I'm going to... So basically, they start planning what they have to do. And what happens after 3 days? Maybe there is a self-sabotage. Maybe something happens. Their plan falls apart. And they feel like a failure. They feel they're weak. They feel that they have no discipline. But here is what nobody really tells you. It's not that you're weak. It's not that you're not disciplined. It's that you created a plan for the best version of you. Not for the real version of you that needs to execute that plan. The real and the actual version of you has to execute that plan for you to work. Now, that's why we have to build a system that works even when you don't feel like it, so that the real version of you can execute, you can become the best version of you. So now, what are the 3 principles that builds that system? The very first principle is you have to think holistically. What does that mean? When you have a map and you're not counting the obstacles, you're basically going to the war without arms. What am I saying about this? That if you plan without thinking about the obstacles, you're gonna basically plan to fail. And so here is what you need to do. We have to ask yourself, what did go wrong last time I failed my goal? And now let me tell you the story of my client She actually is in finances. She wanted to pass the financial tests. So she was doing the SAE, the Series 7, and she came to me with a plan. And she said, Cosimo, I have a plan. I'm going to wake up every morning at 5 a.m. and I'm going to go late at bed so I don't sacrifice my day of working to talk to clients to make money. And I asked her a simple question. I said, are you a morning person? And she told me, no, I am not. You already execute this plan. How did it go? Well, Cosimo, actually, I wanted to do that 3 days ago, but I am not waking up in the morning yet. So I said, okay, you're just seeing this, that it's not going to work because you're relying on only on your willpower. And you're not relying on a system. So we have to find a system that makes you easier to get out of the bed, or we don't want to get out of the bed and find a system that makes you study when you can really study. She said, I don't see any solutions. And so after the second principle, she found a solution. But let me tell you now about the story. So the thing is, in the first principle, you have to ask yourself specific questions. The first question is, what has broken my plans before? The next question is, what drains usually my energy? And number 3 is, what does my life look like on a bad day? Because your system has to survive and thrive you even on the worst day, not on a perfect Monday. And this goes exactly to the second principle, in which I'm going to ask you the question you've been waiting for. That's going to reveal to you what's holding you back and what gives people why they are failing every single time in a goal they really want to achieve. Second principle. Built for repeatability. So you have to be able to repeat the process. And now here's the question. The question is, could you do this when you have the worst day of your life? Could you do this when you didn't sleep well? Could you do this when you have your boss giving you so much tasks to do? Could you do this when you have not recovered well from a weekend? Could you do this well when you are not eating well? Could you do this when you're on vacation with your wife or your family demanding attention? Could you do this in every situation that you noticed it's going to create pressure? Uncovering those obstacles, you understand they are basically finding solutions. All this process to build a system is basically a problem-solving process. So if you start building solutions through your system, it's going to be repeatable every time you need the system. So if I go back to my client, she said, well, Cosimo, no, I actually can't wake up in the morning at 5 a.m. and I'm so tired sometimes after work that I can't actually study. And I said, okay, can you show me your schedule? And can you show me when you have the next vacation or when you have the next weekend with your husband and everything else? So she showed me, and we found out that she has a break during the day. It's a lunch break. And she has 1 hour of lunch break. And I said, can you start studying during the lunch break, maybe instead of the full hour, just 30 minutes. And then I don't see here you have a weekend with your husband already scheduled, but I see here in a month from now you have a trip. Why don't you study 2-3 hours during the weekend to finish this test and to really get ready for it? And she said, oh, I didn't consider that, because usually my weekends are protected. And so basically, when the answer to could you do this when you don't sleep or whatever it is, if the answer is no, then you have to start simplifying to make it a yes. By starting also changing your habits. So this is one of the most important thing you have to understand, that something has to change for you to achieve different results. So in this case, she said during lunch break, she just relaxes and watches her phone and does the things that she wants to do. And I said, you're going to study. And that actually requires less willpower than actually waking up early in the morning. That's very, very uncomfortable for her. So she started doing that. And also during the weekends, she started studying 2 hours per weekend. And you know what happened? Actually, she passed the test. Now, of course, she passed the test because I also taught her some learning techniques that allowed her to retain better, focus better. But besides that, the fact that she understood that by changing those small habits would have helped her to achieve her results made her brain more motivated to do it. And here is some of you thinking, but Cosimo, she needed to rely anyways on her willpower and motivation. Yes, but it was a minimum motivation and willpower compared to the willpower she would have put waking up 5 a.m. in the morning, or going to bed very late at night after she was tired, or any other things. So the second principle requires you to be uncomfortable. Because this means that you are getting outside of your comfort zone, which means they are taking different actions, and so different actions will create for sure different results. So you know that if you want to achieve different results, it requires you to do different actions. Now, because what if I don't want to get uncomfortable? Now, here the battle is not between being uncomfortable versus being comfortable, but is between being uncomfortable and being extremely uncomfortable. Why? Because in the first case, she's giving up only half hour of her lunch break. In the other scenario, when you don't do this, what happens? That you're going to feel the stress, you're going to feel the pressure, that you're not going ahead, you're not making any progress. This creates anxiety, this creates frustration, this creates overwhelming, and you're holding all of those things inside of you that will lower your focus, your energy, so your motivation and willpower are gone forever. And so you never are going to actually achieve that goal, and mostly you're going to feel basically stuck. And feeling stagnant makes you feel like a failure again. So now, here you have to decide. Either you change your habits or you don't. Either you want to study and achieve your results or you don't. That's the truth. You can never achieve and you can never pass the test by not taking actions, by staying in the same comfort zone. It means like not taking any actions. So here is actually the third principle then. The third principle is uncover what's under your band-aids. What does that mean? A band-aid is basically something you put on it for a temporary fix to hide what's actually the real problem is. So let's say you drink coffee during the afternoon to have energy throughout the afternoon. Coffee is a band-aid. The real problem is that you don't sleep well, that you don't recover well. Or a band-aid can be putting a timer to focus when the real problem is that you have been training your brain in a wrong way for attention. And so you never train your brain to pay attention for a long period of time. So for her, the problem was, for example, I actually remember it was focus. And I said, okay, for now, we're going to use a timer so you can just focus for a specific period of time and then you take a break. And I said, after you pass the test, since you're going to do other demanding tasks for your business, we're going to start retraining your attention. And so we start addressing the root of the cause, so of the problem that she had, which was her attention, her focus. So this process is so important because it allows you to understand, where did you put your band-aid? What is that thing that you work around without actually getting to the point of removing it? And I can tell you about myself, I found myself in a moment of my life that I was running my business, I was traveling abroad, I was creating new programs, I was also having family time, and I was trying to put band-aids anywhere just to actually go ahead. At some point, guess what happened? It fell all apart. And I can tell you, I really felt the frustration in that moment, but I knew that was not something I didn't expect. And so I started removing a band-aid at the time, and I started understanding and addressing what the real cause was, what the root cause was. And there is when I start feeling my rebirth. I start feeling that what have been holding me back was not that band-aid, but the fact I never uncovered those band-aid to see what was the real truth. And so, guess what happened? I felt more peace, more serenity, and I expanded my comfort zone by changing my habits. All those things made me change my habits. And I became a person that now is the best version of what I wanted to be to get exactly what I need to be. Now this is my normal. And what happens? Then now, since this is my normal now, by using the same system, I can get to the next best version of myself. And I keep growing because the system is repeatable. So now, the question of this video is this. Do you want to still keep achieving your goals by just planning them or creating systems around them? And if you are the person who wants to build a system around it, just comment in the video. What is the goal that you really want to achieve? And let's achieve it together. This video will die if you don't conversate, if you don't have any questions. Because when you start having questions, you make your brain a step farther to start believing something is happening. So, I always answer my questions, and let me help you to achieve anything you want in your life by all the videos I'm gonna put in this YouTube channel. And see you in the next video.